Hi, and welcome back to Let's Play Satisfactory. In the last episode, we set up several oil refineries. I've done most of the connections between episodes, and we're going to start this episode with another hard drive unlock. Alright, we've seen this one before. There's really no need to supplement limestone. Limestone's super common. This is an excellent recipe. This is my choice between these. This one's a good one for later in the game, but it requires crystal oscillators. We don't have a source of quartz yet, so that's not going to help us. But this recipe removes the need for screws when making reinforced plates, and it also has 50% greater efficiency. So because of another alternate recipe that we have, the iron wire, we can make all of these using iron ore. Iron is the most common resource on the map, at a greater efficiency without the need of screws, and my goal is always to eliminate screws wherever you can. So we'll go with the stitched iron plate blueprint and start another hard drive. Now we're ready to unlock expanded power infrastructure. This is going to give us the fuel generator, the next tier of conveyor belts, the Mark IVs, and the lifts. I've already crafted the required components, so we'll hit the button. Alright.
Milestone reached. The fuel generator will match power generation to the increased consumption of recently acquired technologies and buildings.
We need to unlock
Additionally,
this.
improved conveyor belts can now be constructed.
Okay, almost nothing. That's great. So the issue that we had at the end of the last episode was that these oil refineries take a lot of power. So initially I had set up only 2 oil refineries that would be processing crude oil into fuel. But because we're going to need the fuel generators, I went ahead and upped that to 4, and that turned out to be a perfect decision. This worked out really well. Now this group of the first 4 oil refineries are all producing fuel. These next 8, 4 on this side, 4 on the other, will be producing rubber, and then this group of 16 will be producing plastic. Now this worked out really well because that will make use of the maximum amount of crude oil that we're pumping in from the oil pumps. Each of these conveyor belts has 240 per second. And this setup turned out really nicely in that each side of each group requires 240 crude oil barrels per minute. These first 2 making fuel require 60, so that's 120. And then these next 4 require 30 each. So 120, 150, 180, 210, and 240. And it's the same on the other side, exactly the same. And then over here, these are just a line of 8 refineries producing plastic. They require 30 per second. 8 times 30, 240. Easy math. So I set this up by having the lower belt feed this side, the eastern side of this first group, and the second belt will feed the eastern side of the plastic refineries. Now we'll take the third belt and the fourth belt over to the western side. This third belt is now the first belt on the bottom. And you can stop right here. The fourth belt is now the second belt on the west side. Up to this point, and then it will become the first and only belt for the western side of the plastic refineries. Pull out our splitters. And then connect them to the refinery inputs. Alright. So in hooking the power poles up, I've only hooked them up in groups of by what they're producing. So all of the refineries producing fuel are connected to a set of power poles. The refineries producing rubber are connected to a set of power poles. That's a separate set. And then the plastic refineries are all connected to another set of power poles. But none of those sets have been connected to the network itself. Right now I'm going to go ahead and connect only the refineries that are producing fuel. I don't want to overtax our power grid until we've had a chance to expand the grid. Put this in the inside. Okay, these first four are the fuel producers. All the recipes have been selected. Now these will produce 37.5 fuel per minute each. So about 140-ish. It's 150 exactly. 150 fuel per minute. And that should feed about 12 fuel generators, I believe. So let's see what we need for fuel generators. We need heavy modular frames. Motors, we'll need to get some more motors. Computers and cables. Fortunately, we have enough computers exactly, just from scavenging around crash sites. That's fortuitous. We'll put this right here. Let's actually look. We should line this up. Let's get a splitter. Now fuel generator. They're big. This fuel generator will produce 150 megawatt hours of electricity. So we're already at 1350 megawatt hours. But we know that's not going to be nearly enough once we hook the rest of these refineries up. We're gonna want the full 12, I believe. Let's go and grab the motors to make that happen. We need 11 more. grab some cables too. Between episodes, I just let the factory run for a few hours. I wanted everything to get caught up. Have a chance for the components to stockpile. We've almost filled our second storage container full of modular frames. We have 2 full storage containers of motors and an industrial storage container full of the encased industrial beams. So we're in pretty good shape to move into the next phase of our expansion once we've got the rest of our refinery set up. And the next stage will be computers. We can set these down. Pick up some motors. There we go. Let's check the MAM. It might be done. It is. Alright. Let's see. Alternate blueprint beacon. I've never used this blueprint because I've never automated beacon production. There's not a real need for them, aside from like vehicles and truck stations. It's really easy to craft them by hand. Alternate blueprint stators. This would increase the efficiency of our stator production to match that of our rotors, but it replaces the copper wire with caterium wire. This is something to consider. And alternate blueprint rich seal. This might be a better option than the alternate recipe we have right now. Let's look. Well, the options are, I mean, these recipes are the same except for the recipe we're using, or the alternate recipe we've unlocked, uses 3 iron ingots, and this new recipe uses 6 units of iron ore. It's got the same production rate. Oh, but it only uses 3 units of coal. This seems like a much better recipe. Let's see just how many units of iron ore it takes for 1 iron ingot. Is it 1 to 1? Yeah, it's 1 to 1. So this recipe is using twice the iron ingots, but half the coal. Or twice the iron ore, but half the coal. And you don't have to use constructors. I'm going to say this is the better option. You won't have to smelt the coal, or smelt the iron ore into iron ingots. And I'd much rather have a higher iron demand than a higher coal demand. So we'll go with this and start our next hard drive. There are a few really critical or alternate recipes I'd like to unlock before we start building our mega factory. Turbo fuel, that's going to be an important one. We want all of the alternate recipes that are needed to eliminate screws, so definitely a computer alternate recipe. Okay. So we're making 12. They're not going to fit here. 2, 3, 4. That's gonna be close, but not quite. 5. Okay, we've got the concrete for this. All right. So this should really jump the capacity of our power grid. Hopefully it'll be enough to not only power all of our oil refineries, but will also power the automation of computers and heavy modular frames. Those are coming up on our to-do list. We need 1,000 of each to unlock Tier 7 at the space elevator. It's a tall order. For oil refineries producing fuel, actually produce enough fuel for 12.5 fuel generators. I'm not going to put down another, like a 13th generator. I'm just going to let that excess collect in the storage container, and we can pick it up to use in vehicles like the Explorer or jetpacks as we need them. It's good to have a little excess for oil, or for fuel rather. You could also route that excess fuel down to a truck station. That's something to consider. We've got one truck station currently being supplied by biofuel, and ending reliance on biofuel completely, then that's definitely worthwhile. Alright. All 12 are connected, and our power capacity jumped to 2850. Excellent. That's really promising. Will it be enough for computers and heavy modular frames? It'll be close. right now it says that we're consuming around 800, but our initial factory is not even pulling its full potential right now. You know, a lot of components are completely full, completely stockpiled, so those machines aren't drawing power. Okay, we just hooked up 8 producing rubber. Yeah, and our power needs jumped from 800 to 1250. Now we're going to hook up 16 more producing plastic. Yeah, it's going to be tight. We'll probably need to expand our coal generators. Or, another option, now that we have Mark IV belts, we could upgrade our oil pumps with power shards, get them double capacity, take them from 240 barrels of crude oil per minute to 480, and put them on the Mark IV belts, doubling our supply of crude oil. The Mark IV belts are 480 units exactly, so they're perfect for transporting resources from oil pumps with power shards or Mark III miners on pure nodes. Those are 480 as well. So now we've got all 3 oil products beginning to stockpile in our base. There's really not a big need for... This is building up really quickly. Wow. There's not a large need for rubber at this point. Oh. They're building up quickly because these are not consuming at the maximum rate. The math here works out as 4 refineries producing fuel will supply enough fuel for 12 fuel generators when the full amount of power is being pulled from each generator. Right now, you just look at our power grid. We're using a little bit more than half, so this fuel is being burned at a little bit more than half of its potential rate. Next step, it's going to be, do we want to do heavy modular frames? I say we go for computers first. No, I take that back. Heavy modular frames. We've got the alternate recipe for heavy modular frames. That's going to be really helpful. Let's grab some iron plates and copper to unlock this alternate stitch iron plate recipe. And we'll probably need some coal and iron ore for the alternate steel ingot recipe. Jump pads are fun. Alright. Stitch iron plates unlocked. Alternate enriched steel ingot. 100 of each. Unlocked. What else can we do? What do we need for the medicinal inhaler? Okay, very doable. This is an alternate method for making the medicinal inhaler. Instead of using mycelia, the bacon plants, and pale berries, and barrel nuts, you only need mycelia and alien organs. So it's much less resource intensive. You don't need to like hunt down 4 ingredients, you're only looking for 2. And I believe it's 1 alien organ per medicinal inhaler, which is nice. These motors are fully backed up, fully stocked. Just grab a stack of those. You can see that our steel pipes are backed up too. They're probably stockpiling in the industrial storage container down below. That's good. Because we're about to increase our demand for steel pipes with the heavy modular frames. Rotors. Okay. So what do we need? Oh, I take it back. It's 3 alien organs and 5 mycelia per medicinal inhaler. We're almost out of mycelia, so we'll get some more the next time we're out and about. Let's see. Oh, next hard drive. This is a no. This is a no. I guess we're doing alternate black powder then. The recipe or the requirements are exactly the same. Oh, I take that back. Is that... I bet that's compacted coal. It's hard to tell. Yep, compacted coal. Interesting. These are all pretty bad recipes. I guess if I had to choose... These are all bad options, but that happens. We've just eliminated 1 bad option for the future. We've got 15 more hard drives to go. So at this point, we may want to rework our reinforced iron plates. Do we have the recipe for alternate modular frames? We don't. Okay. I'm pretty sure we do have the recipe though for alternate heavy modular frames. So let's put down a manufacturer and see what those require. Okay, we need 5 heavy modular frames and 5 computers. That'll be enough, actually. Yeah. Pod is back. Need to collect some iron pipes. And computers are made with circuit boards, cable, plastic, and screws. Yeah, we definitely need an alternate recipe for computers. And probably an alternate recipe for circuit boards too. I know there's an alternate recipe for circuit boards that uses quick wire. We don't have any use for our quick wire right now. It's just sitting there. Okay, slowly building up a reserve of steel pipes, but we're going to use it all. And more, I'm sure, once we start producing heavy modular frames. Computers. What do we need for 4 computers? They just changed the model for manufacturers in the latest update to the experimental branch of Satisfactory, and they look even cooler. Much cooler, actually. All of the new textures are really great. I think everyone is looking forward to that update. Screws. Cable. And some plastic. We've already got some circuit boards just from crash site debris. That'll work. They're really large. No, we actually need to make the computers. Okay. Let's check out this recipe. Alternate. Okay, so the standard recipe: 5 modular frames, 15 steel pipes, 5 encased industrial beams, 90 screws. The alternate recipe: 8 heavy modular frames, 10 encased industrial beams, 36 steel pipes, 25 concrete. So we've swapped in concrete for screws. That's a good change because we've got a lot of concrete. We've increased everything else. Looks like we've doubled everything else a little bit. I guess we've more than doubled our steel pipe requirement. We need 8 modular frames instead of 5, but now we're making 3 heavy modular frames instead of just 1. So pretty big boost in efficiency. But even with the alternate recipe, it's only a little less than 3 per minute. So it'll take a while to get up to 1,000. But we'll get there. I'm not sure that we have the resources at this point to do more than 1 manufacturer. We'll start with 1 and then we'll see how far that gets us. Let's check our at the rate at which we're making modular frames: 4 per minute. And this needs how many per minute? I guess it's only 8. So we'll need to double this. Yeah, we'll definitely need to rework this. Let's put our manufacturer down. Okay, yep, 7.5 modular frames per minute. Almost 34 steel pipes per minute. That's going to be an issue. Concrete should be fine. Encased industrial beams, I think we might be okay on that. We need a little more than 9 per minute. Let's see how many we're producing here. Producing 6 per minute times 3, 18 per minute, so that's fine. We could almost supply 2 manufacturers with encased industrial beams. Steel pipes is going to be the issue. So once we get this set up, I'm thinking the first thing we do is we take a look at our steel foundries. Maybe use an alternate recipe to boost our steel ingot production. That's probably smart. So these are all, both of these are heavy modular, or the standard modular frames. Actually, probably makes the most sense. Put this. Let's see, what else do we need? Concrete, that's on the bus. This is on the bus. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. We'll put these here. Got a power pole. It's dangerous. Now we'll grab our concrete and some steel pipes. Where's concrete? Looks like third from the top. Steel pipes. We'll get a conveyor lift. Another. It's probably a little long. Let's see. Okay, that'll work. Let's see. I sure did. Just taking the time to make all the lines straight. Purely for aesthetic reasons, there's no benefit or detriment to efficiency if you don't. Or very little anyway. Alright. And just like that, as soon as these encased industrial beams arrive, we'll be producing heavy modular frames. Let's put a industrial size storage container here. Production started. Less than 3 a minute for 1,000. It's 333 minutes. Is that 5.5 hours? Yikes. Hey, it's fine. Now the question is, do we want to change our reinforced iron plate recipe? I'm going to leave it for now. If we start to run out of screws, and I don't think we will, we've got a lot, then I'll change it later. Right now we've got an entire second belt of screws here that are going unused, but we're going to want those for computers. And where to put our computer automation. We'll have plastic coming up below. We'll need space for circuit boards. There's probably room right here. Yeah. Circuit boards and then computers. I think that'll probably be a job for the next episode. Before we wrap this up, let's go unlock one more alternate recipe. Oh. Deuterium computers. This is good. This is great, actually, because we have plenty of quick wire. Circuit boards require copper wire and plastic. We've got a lot of rubber beam produced. No screws are required, and they're producing 3 a minute instead of 1. With yeah, it's a much better production rate per minute. That was lucky. We'll start the next hard drive. And see what we need to unlock the recipe. It's probably, here we go, deuterium. Okay. Just run and get some rubber and plastic. This is already full. That's excellent. Making a lot of rubber, but you'll need a lot of rubber once we reach tier 7. And we're making the aluminum products, heat sinks, turbo motors. Okay, we're going to be in really good shape to start the next episode with that alternate recipe. Is there anything else we can unlock in the meantime? We don't have the resources for any of this. This is not really a priority, but it's worth thinking about. It's something we can do easily. That's not a priority at all. But we've got it, so let's do it. Actually, is this compacted coal? I take it back, we can't do it. Oh yeah, we can. We'll just make it by hand here. Actually, come to think of it, you can't make compacted coal by hand. It can only be produced in a foundry, I guess? Either a foundry or an assembler, I'm not sure which it is. So we'll end this episode here. And next episode we'll pick up with computer automation. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the Let's Play series. Leave any comments or critiques you've got in the comments or any questions. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.